conspiracYCougar, this one's for you. Why don't you do some science, boy? Yeah, you know, that last video I did because you brought me back out after all of my silence and I just got away from this crap. Well, let's see you do some type of experiment to where you can build a fire and show that it's warmer the further you get away, like the heliocentric model demands. 2 million miles difference between January and June. And you really believe that the diameter of the earth and the little bit of the tilt is going to make the seasons, but the 2 million mile distance variance does nothing? Well, you ignorant prick, do something about it to show how all this stuff works. Because I'll tell you what, there ain't a one of you so far that have proved the globe. Not a one of you. You're all just a bunch of mumble bumble jumbo slapping each other on the back with all your sock accounts and all your bullshit. Slyman Dan, and Soundly, Greater Sapien, and Red's Rhetoric, and Sean Hawkins, and all you little bitches. Why don't you do some real experiments proving the globe? Not some kind of optical view, camera distortion. Actual measurements, like I proposed, since Greater Sapien got that $16,000, it would be pretty good step in the direction of settling this reality, should I say, because there is no experiment anywhere that proves Earth to be in motion. In fact, you have Michelson-Morley, Michelson-Sagnaw, Airy's failure. I might have a few of these names a little twisted and stuff, but there, you get the idea, man. We have lots of experiments that were post 1800, 1900, 1899, right in that area where Earth was proven to be motionless. But you're not taught that in school. You're taught that the Earth is rotating on its axis counterclockwise at 1,040 miles an hour at the equator. Do you realize that's over 1,500 feet per second? That's faster than most every modern handgun today shoots its projectile. So you come up here to the 45th parallel, and it's about 750 feet per second, because that's kind of where New York and Los Angeles are in that general vicinity there. So it's about 750 feet per second there, and it takes the same amount of time for a plane to fly from New York to LA as it does that same plane to refuel and fly from LA and back to New York, minus a little bit of wind current by a half hour or so, but that doesn't justify the 750 feet per second. And then you got your helicopter. That helicopter creates lift by grabbing the air above it and pushing it down, creating a lift for the helicopter to propel itself in a vertical manner. And as it does that, it's all the air that's around it is also going down. You don't just stand right next to a helicopter, and that ain't just where there's no column of air. The air is being dragged by the air that's being pushed by the props of the helicopter. That in itself demonstrates that the atmosphere can't be hanging on to the earth as it spins, because there's not enough wind out there. Just by it, the helicopter in itself is a marvelous invention. It in itself proves that the earth is motionless. Balloon's already done that. But the helicopter, all of the air that it's pushing down, it's also grabbing a hold of some of the air. You can tell that the air away from the props is disturbed too. It's not just directly under the props. And so that is the slide of cohesion of the air molecules. You have your slide cohesion, is basically what that is. And that would be the same effect that the earth would have with the atmosphere if the earth was actually spinning and dragging the atmosphere. There's nothing that could actually hold on to every individual molecule out there and drag it. You're an idiot to think that's possible. And so when the helicopter completely washes itself of the atmosphere by grabbing the air above and pushing it below it and causing a barrier around itself, it is independent of the earth completely at that point in time, and the earth would definitely spin out from underneath of it. When you go out on the ocean, all you ball professors with the greater sapien, when you guys all get together and go out there on the beach to collect that $100,000 over there on Myrtle Beach to prove the globe, you know, to go measure that curvature and show that it exists, when at high tide we'll all just go out there, and at high tide we'll drive stakes every couple 100 feet at high tide, so that our instruments don't vary and our measuring unit, our engineer's rule, don't vary a whole lot. We'll go out there at high tide, and about every couple 100 feet we'll keep our instruments real accurate, and we'll start at this end and we'll set our instrument at a certain elevation, and then we'll shoot every point in between there where it's staked out, and we'll set an initial height of our instrument at, say, 48 inches or 52 inches or whatever you want it to be, and from that point we measure the elevation at 52 inches right here. Then it's the same 52 inches that is over there. And then you can bring your instrument over here and reset up and do that all the way down. And then you can grab your $100,000 greater sapien for real. I've been in construction a long time, and I understand what plumb and vertical is, and I know what horizontal and level is. Level don't start out L-E and end in E-L as a mirror image of itself or nothing. Level, it's the same, going both directions. So, I encourage everybody making videos to start pushing the globe professors to go to Myrtle Beach at high tide and measure the curvature for us. If they won't do it, they're afraid to the results, actually. They're afraid to see what's out there. They're afraid of reality. They'd rather live in this dream world, this spinning ball. That's an imaginative. I really feel ashamed of myself for allowing myself to be persuaded to believe that as a child. See, my story goes way back. When I was 10 years old, my mother flew me from Spokane, Washington to Salt Lake City. And I was intelligent enough with the reason to understand that when I went up in that airplane, I was going to be leaving the surface of the ball and it was going to go out of sight underneath of me. And when that didn't happen, I thought to myself, there must be reasons for that. Just pretty much like we did in kindergarten, and when we're asking the teacher how the people in the water sits on this ball, because our reason tells us that that ain't so, and so we're questioning that. And the teacher tells us it's gravity. And it's what really sucked is she's teaching with conviction, because she was indoctrinated to believe it too without any investigation whatsoever towards reality. And that's how we all got sucked into this spinning ball paradigm that doesn't exist, except in the mind. You would actually be able to see in a panoramic view of a large city that's 20 miles wide, you would see the buildings growing away from each other in the tops. You really would. The formula 8 inches per mile squared is according to the Pythagorean theorem of geometry and spheres. And it's not a complete sphere, but because you can't really do the complete sphere, but you can go clear out to the almost equator of the sphere at that formula. And so when you go out the 1 mile and you have your 8-inch curvature drop, you go out your 2nd mile and you multiply it. 2 times 2 is 4, times 8 is 32 inches of curvature drop. Then you go out your 3rd mile, which is approximately your visual horizon out there is approximately 3 miles away. That is a 72 inch, because 3 times 3 is 9, times 8 is 72. That's a 72 inch curvature drop that should be dropping away from you. But it can't just drop away from you, or it would be a cylinder. It has to go off in all directions at that point. So 3 miles out there, it has to have a 6-foot curvature drop. 3 miles out that way has to have a 6-foot curvature drop that way. Everywhere you are on the top. And so when you're standing up and you're looking out there, your panoramic view standing at 6 foot tall is approximately 18 to 20 miles. Where is the bulge? You should be able to see a detectable bulge all the way around you on the horizon out there. It's obvious that when you're on a ball, the moment you leave the surface of that ball, the gaseous surroundings and the solidity of the ball, that line dividing them two entities of gas and solid, will automatically start dropping below you, and it will continue to drop below you and continue to drop below you very rapidly, kind of like this. All of a sudden, you see how big this ball looks here? Look, it's the same size as that orange one. This is about a foot away from the camera. When you come back here by where the orange one is, look how fast that reduced its size. Same effect would happen on the ball Earth. The moment you leave the surface in an ascension, going up, no matter where you're at, don't matter if you're down here on a ball, you're still in essence at the highest point of the ball. Here, it don't matter. And the moment you ascend, you will have to start looking down to see the division line of the gas and the solid, the surrounding atmosphere. It would be an atmosphere because it would be around the ball. I call it the atmosphere because it's out there. There's no solid proof of a dome as far as I'm concerned, and there's no solid proof of an end of a plane as far as I'm concerned. Nobody's ever been there. Nobody's ever been up there and been hiking up on that dome anywhere. So as far as I'm concerned, Tony, it's a infinite plane, and I've explained that more than once. It goes out in all directions non-stop as far as your conception can be. I'm not claiming to have all the answers to everything, but I know what's bullshit. And the spinning ball is just that. I grew up on it, people. What most everybody did that went into the indoctrination system, and it didn't start there. It started in infancy. You look at the toys that were in your nursery, and they have Disney Earths, spinning ball Earths, the mobile in your crib. They had an Earth, spinning ball Earth. Embedding that deep into your mind that where you are is on a spinning ball, hurling around. It's all right, folks. The gig's up. The cat's out of the bag. I'm going to tell you something. 3:45, however long this has been going on, I've got a big mouth and I can't shut it up anywhere. I am probably one of the greatest pushers of the flat earth in public. I do not like the government. They thieve my money. We are the mortals of this realm. We create every power producing facility out there. Thank you. We create every fuel station and recovery system out there. We design it with our minds. We fund the building of it with our dollars. We build it. We man it. And we give it to the corporation that we created. Madness. But them elites need us here because if you think you're on a spinning ball Earth, you don't know where you are. That's for damn sure. And if you don't know where you are, do you think you're ever going to know why you're there? Or perhaps even a greater question of why you're there is what you're supposed to be doing while you're there to move on to the next greater plane of existence. And I know most of you have already heard of the planes of existence. They can only lie so much. They don't call them airplanes for nothing, folks. If they flew around the planet, they would be called air planets. They'd be moving over through the air around the planet. They have their word games. Once you start getting so deep into it, the shit just, you don't care anymore to participate. And that's why I don't even hardly that's why I give up on the YouTube. When I got onto this thing, I thought, hey, this is going to be the greatest thing in the world, man. We'll be able to wake up a whole bunch of people, get them turned against this government, learn what reality is, start protecting themselves, moving on to barter system and taking care of the neighbor, and don't need the cops, don't need the government. Government's been shut down how many days? Do you know that? No, because it don't fucking matter. The government's a big thieving control mechanism, and you don't need government. You really don't. And see, I've went off on 2 or 3 or 4 different tangents here, and so these ball earthers will be able to say, hey, he's just a scatterbrain, he's all over the place, but you know, I'm such a scatterbrain, why don't you go over there and fucking gather up that money, you galoots, all of you, for real. You know, this has been going on long enough. You know damn good and well the government's not gonna make NASA do anything about this, folks, until we the people actually take control and start fucking, it either is or it isn't, and if it is a spinning ball, which I know it ain't, then we bad dumb stupid fucks, you know. But let's wake up you ballers out there and prove you guys got the money and attitude to prove us wrong. You know, by all means, go do it. You have a challenge out there at Myrtle Beach. I know it's out there still. It's $100,000 to prove the globe. So go do it. I already know it's not a globe. You can't collect the money, and you guys know that too, or you'd already been out there. You just rather sit here and nickel and dime yourself into a paycheck from YouTube because you're too lazy to get off your ass and go get a fucking job. You know, I don't know what your deal is. I prefer to do something and see my accomplishments during the day. Things I build and construct. That's why I'm in construction. That's why I build. There's going to be things that I've built that are going to be around hundreds of years, maybe thousands of years after I'm gone. See, so I'm going to be living into history already, or the future, whatever. Parts of me are already going to be there. Many people are, but that's not what this video is about. So now I'm going off in different directions, but I challenge any of you ballers, you know, to really, we ought to have a party. And if there's enough people who are into the flat earth, round earth debate, but there ain't no debate, there's only a reality of where we're at, and it's obvious that your senses don't lie to you, but you refuse to believe them. We all did. It's a step you go through, but I am for you guys getting over to Myrtle Beach. You're right over there in that vicinity, every damn one of you. It wouldn't take you a whole lot, and there's a lot of people over in that area that would verify the measurements. I've told you how to do it more than once, and that would, if you do your couple 100 foot of high tide stake markers all the way down that any beach, it don't matter if it's curved or whatever, it's going to show the same elevation every one of them fucking stakes. That's going to show a plane, folks, because you can't have curved water anywhere. A frozen pond, you would see it. You really would. A big frozen pond, you would be able to see some of the curvature. I'm not talking about a mud puddle. I'm talking about Utah Lake when it used to freeze. Yeah, it used to freeze when I was a kid. When I lived there as a kid. But we haven't seen temperatures even cold enough to freeze it in a long time. And I'm just rambling on, folks. So this here's about where I'm going to stop. Y'all have a good evening, ballers. Prove the globe. That's all you got to do. Then we'll go away. You know, you ain't gonna make us go away. You're ball sucking bitches, man. By trying to continue the fantasy of this ball. Sooner the people wake up to where they're at, the sooner the people figure out who they are. And you're only in the way. Every one of you ought to be ashamed of yourself, shutting your channel down. Tell you the truth. ain't got no proof, it's no spinning ball. Nowhere, no how. That's why we're here, you fools. That's why we're here. Because there ain't no proof. And we're tired of being ripped off by illegitimate government. Funding illegitimate alphabet soup groups, CIA, to keep you in a mind fucking scared on every psyop they carry out, keep you all scared. FBI pretending to be somebody. Yeah, they'll fuck with you, but they won't fuck with them. You know, NASA. The money we spend on NASA, folks, it's enough money to feed and clothe every mortal within this realm. There should be no hunger on NASA's budget alone. Nobody should be homeless on NASA's budget alone. But they are. But they are. I'm done for a minute. You all have a good evening. Go prove the globe, fools. See who the stupid idiots are. Prove us to be stupid idiots. Don't just tell everybody what stupid idiots we are. For real. We've been trying to just tell you it's flat. We've done everything we can. The only thing that ain't been done is an actual measurement, like I've been trying to explain. You don't need that one beam thing they did back in the 1800s. I can't remember what it was, where they had the H beams all machined out and stuff, moved them all the way down and proved it was somewhat pretty much flat, but whatever. You you get a pretty decent transit level and an engineer rule, and you shoot every couple 100 foot, 150 feet, 200 feet, whatever. Just don't go over a couple 100 feet, and you do your measurements. That way it don't take a whole lot of time, but you will be able to calculate the elevation that you're at and settle this once and for all. You really can. And if you settle it to be a ball, which you won't, will go away, but when you find out how fucking stupid you've been, maybe you'll come to the realization that it's time to shut the government down, because they've been nothing but deceit and stealing your money, stealing your power, making you pay for your own mortal existence. People, we're here to live out our mortal experience free of charge. We all have freedoms, and they have this government, they make you think you have rights. You don't have rights. Only a fool has rights. Only a stupid idiot has rights. You have freedoms, morons. You don't have to ask anybody for anything. You just don't trespass upon other people's freedoms and liberties. And you'll be just fine in life, and everybody else will too. And those who don't, they will be dealt with. And that's what anarchy is, folks. That truly is what anarchy is. And that's the only society that really thrives, is an anarchical society. The Indians did just fine for hundreds and hundreds of years before the white man and the colonial system showed. You just look at the recent history, and then look at the history prior, before the white man, and things didn't get all fucked up. Anyway, I'm just rambling on now, but I'm going to go ahead and stop there. Y'all have a good evening, and peace out, folks. Thanks for watching. Spread the good word, whatever it is. It's the truth. Lying.